mean, I was like, Saturday was, Saturday was like the worst day. Finally, Saturday, once I got it taken care of at least. Anyway, looks like we're live, Michael Knight. How the hell are you this Monday morning?
I have no idea, but I'm pleased to be here, Vinnie. It's good to see you. And it's a Monday. It's a miraculous, morose Monday.
Well, you know what, Michael? I consider every time we're here miraculous. I mean, there are days.
There's something that's truthful about that.
Yes, in the realm of miracles, I got to say that we be in here on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays.
Yeah, it's
at,
rare.
10:10 or thereabouts is nothing but a pure miracle. How was your weekend?
It was quiet, but it was beautiful. We had good weather. And what else happened? The Giants won a game 19-7, something like that. They have been losing all their games just to make a point of the trouble that the team is in. And they decided they were going to win one, but not 5-3 or 6-7 or come up with any numbers you like. 19-8, I think was the final score with the Colorado team. Although the people in Colorado might argue that that's a team.
Well, they've had their problems in Colorado, just like we've had our problems with all of our teams, with every team that we love.
Except that's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets are in town starting today here in Seattle, and
oh boy, excitement reigns.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I'm a Mets fan. I love the Mets. I'll love the Mets till the day I die. I mean, I'm not gonna not be a Mets fan, but it's really tough to root for them right now because of injuries and because of just the general state of the team and what's turned out to be what I think is a dumb philosophy in which way they went with the team. They got rid of a few guys that I don't think they should have gotten rid of. They got rid of their power. You need power to hit the ball to win games. Meanwhile, the Mariners have boosted themselves into first place.
And they're only a 500 team.
Well, you don't have, as the Mets proved in 1973, all you got to be is you don't even have to be a 500 team. But a 500 team, if you get to 500 at the right time,
yes,
could get you into the World Series. And it did with them back in 73.
Yes.
When they played the Oakland Athletics and took them to 7 games.
Wow.
I mean, that was a little crazy. But speaking about the Athletics had an interesting game with the Yankees. Yes, I don't know if you caught that.
Saw some of the highlights, yes.
What was it? They scored 13 runs
in the first inning.
In the first inning, and I forget how many hits off the top of my head, but all of the runs and all of the hits that the Yankees scored came in the first inning. That was it.
That's it. That's all.
Very rare in baseball for that to happen. As a matter of fact, I don't know that the Yankees had done that ever in their vaunted history. So I'm going to try to get to 1 or 2 of the games with the Mets and the Mariners, but it'll be weird because I almost feel dirty rooting for the Mariners against the Mets, and if it was the World Series or something like that, but even in the World Series, I mean, the Mets have won their World Series. The Mariners are trying to get there. The Mariners, even at 31-29, a couple of games above 500, look like they want it. The Mets look like they could care less. And I'm always going to root for a team that looks like they want it over a team that looks like they could care less.
Well, if you bring the Mets a little New York juju when you go to the games, or even if you're listening at home, you'll see that the Mets side of New York, Vinnie, will come out and be welcomed by the team itself. They'll realize your influence is afoot, and they'll respond accordingly.
I don't know. Last time I went to see them, they got swept by the Mariners. Was it last year? Yeah, last year they got swept by the Mariners. It got so bad I didn't even go for the third game. I was like sitting there going, I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So it was.
I understand.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean, Michael, you look at the Giants; they're 23-36 at this point, and even though it's, we're almost at the threshold of it's not early anymore.
Well, it's not very early where they are,
and they're really not early. I mean, they just have nothing going for them. The Mets. I mean, they got a little something going for them, but not much. I mean, it's funny how both of our teams seem to be in the kind of in the same boat.
They lack luster. They don't have a spark. They don't have something they can point to and saying, this is how we're going to do it. This guy is going to fill the gap. This guy's going to give us what we need. This collection of players is not prepared to win some games. This makes us optimistic. This makes us look to the future. This makes us full of hope. This presents a side to our offense and defense that we hadn't seen before. This is new. This is exciting. This is remarkable.
Well, it looked like, it looked like it was going to get better for the Mets. Those young kids showed up and they added some pop to the lineup. They added a little something. But
Soto began hitting.
The pitching seemed like it started to come together a little bit, but we'll see. Like I always say at this time, and I'll say it until August. It's a long season, and lots of things can happen. People were writing the Mariners off for dead a week and a half ago. And if you were looking at the comments,
fired Dan Wilson.
Never do. I don't know why I do it, but I do it. But if you look at the comments, I mean, people wanted to run Dan Wilson out of town. He doesn't know how to manage. He's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. Please. I mean, he's doing, I think, a decent job. Does he make mistakes? Yeah, but like we talked about on Friday, Lou Piniella made mistakes. Casey Stengel made mistakes. Gil Hodges made mistakes. I mean, pull out a manager. What manager? If you're making 150 decisions in a game, every one of them isn't going to be right.
Plus, your decision to entrust a pinch hit or a run and hit or a squeeze play or any kind of change in the personnel, you make the decision, but that player and those events that are laid out on the diamond all have to come true. They all have to work.
Yeah, they got to execute.
And that's impossible in baseball. That's not the way baseball works. You play percentages. You win by percentages. And then if you're lucky, you'll have a $27 million house in Florida like Ken Griffey Jr. And you don't want it anymore. You need something. You need a little more room.
Did you? I mean, obviously, you saw the post. That he's put his house up for sale that I put up. And you know what? I want to know if I could buy the 10-car garage.
Well, that's why he's moving. He needs more room for his cars.
If I could buy the 10-car garage from Junior, that might send me down to Florida. That might be the thing that sends me down to Florida. Can't be sure.
Wait for hurricane season to be over.
That would send me right out of Florida.
I'm out here.
That would have me booking right out of Florida, man. I've been in a hurricane, a couple of hurricanes, and they're not fun. They're not
meant to be.
Yeah, an earthquake is worse than a hurricane. I will always say, because there doesn't seem to be anywhere to go in an earthquake.
There's no place.
Everything is moving. I remember the quake in '89, and how that, how it just looked like there was just nowhere to go. I mean, I still, when you walk out of a building and you see a muni bus looking like a lowrider going up and down, you're saying to yourself, "There's something wrong here."
Yeah, there's no place for me to go.
Yeah, you don't want to run outside because there's glass falling out of windows. You don't want to stay inside because you're worried about the building collapsing. You see that there's yeah, they tell you that the old thing about standing the door, Buck, but
it's pretty hard to move.
Thing saying this thing isn't going to hold up this building.
I was at Candlestick for that quake and just bought the last 2 beers or 4 beers, whatever it was. I was buying for the box that my friends were waiting for me to return with food and drink. And if you remember at Candlestick, you bought your hot dog, but you had to then go to the condiment stand, which is behind you. So I'm back with the mustard and the ketchup, and that's when the quake hit. And I'm under a block of cement, a slab supporting the seats that's got to be 20 tons. That was not encouraging.
No.
And I look out the door. The doors are open to the field. I could see through them to the left field seats, and the top of the Candlestick Park was like gravy in a bowl that had been sloshed. Somebody kicked the Thanksgiving dinner table, and all the liquids were moving, and the top of the building was going as if it was liquefied. And the guy next to me freaked out so totally and thoroughly, completely and loudly that I didn't say a word. Figured I'll go down without a peep. This guy's making enough noise for everybody. And it took me all the way from where I was under the slab with the mustard and the ketchup to the box on the first base side before I figured out through people watching their little portable TVs that the bridge was down. Yeah. And then we knew we were in trouble. And then we knew that the lights were not coming back on. It was like 4:30 in the afternoon and more like 5 o'clock. The electricity was out for the whole city. There was no power. And that lasted, I think, 3 days.
Yeah, some places more than that. I mean, I remember the marina was out for weeks.
That was so weird.
Marina was a mess. Marina was on. In fact, going home that night from Candlestick to downtown took forever, but to get from the marina, the Embarcadero, where my friend had his office, where we got to use the phone. The phones worked.
The television worked in Marin.
So to get to Marin took forever because I had to go through the marina to get there, and the marina was on fire. And that was pretty daunting. That was It was a scary, scary night.
Yeah, it was. It was. I was up in the Haight, and I just remember being in a building, and the building starting to shake, and I did the stupidest thing you could possibly do, and that was walk outside. Although, again, you look up and you're going, well, I don't want to be standing here because this building could come down. I mean, the building was was there probably since the 1910s. and you didn't know how strong, all those buildings they hate look like they're built with slab board. There's no, strong construction, no steel in those buildings. This was before even the whole retrofitting thing that went on in San Francisco after the earthquake. And it was wild. And I walked outside and it was a muni bus. And people were jumping out of the windows on the bus, and the bus was going up and down, and it was glass flying, and it was pretty intense. And I remember going over to I had a Toyota pickup truck at the time, a little Hilux pickup truck, and turned on the radio, KNBR, and heard Ron Fairley tell us that the game should resume in a few minutes. So
it was that was a level of optimism that not everybody shared. 30 minutes
probably
later.
Ron Fairley. It was the only person that was that optimistic that thing was going to go, because I think, when you look back at it and you look at it's easy to kind of look at it now, but when you saw that the players were on the field with their families, that game wasn't going to resume. They couldn't. There was no way. They were trying to evacuate Candlestick Park, and
they couldn't. There was no way to make an announcement to the crowd, "Go home." There's not going to be a game. There was no PA system.
Yeah, it kind of had to work. Well, I think the cops if I remember right, didn't the cops come out on the field?
They put a cop car on the field with a loudspeaker, the one that they used to say, pull over at the next available corner.
Yes, everybody can leave. We don't need to see your license or your registration. Just get out of here.
Just get.
And there was no traffic light. So you threw all of those cars, 10,000, 15,000 cars into the streets of San Francisco with no traffic lights.
Plus it was commute hour. So everybody was headed home.
Luckily, and that's what what they've always said, is there was, it happened at 5:04, and luckily the World Series game was on, and the game was between the A's and the Giants, so there was a lot of traffic that wasn't out there that night. Otherwise, the death toll from the collapse of the freeway of the Nimitz would have been much higher. As it was, the freeways pancaked onto each other. The top level, they were two levels, and one went down and pancaked on the other, and I forget how many people died there, but
I think 63.
Yeah, I'm
not convinced of that number, but I think that rings a bell. Interestingly enough, the freeway that pancaked in East Bay, the 580, was identical to the Embarcadero Freeway in design, and identical to the West Side Freeway in Seattle.
Right. Yeah. The 99, and both of them have been taken down.
Yes,
because they figured, although
you had your warning, you're not going to get another warning like that.
Yeah. It was they've taken that freeway in Seattle and made a tunnel out of it. So I often say to myself, well, how's that tunnel going to fare if there's this big earthquake that everybody says is coming at some point? But comparing it to a hurricane, which was the original premise we were talking about, at least a hurricane, you can duck into a basement, you can duck into a strong building or something like that, and feel like you stand a chance. You just get down, get in a basement, or get out of the in an earthquake. I just don't know what you do. And if you're up in a tall building, you're just it's a very scary proposition.
I did one earthquake at KRQR on the 32nd floor. I was sitting by the window. You know how those windows looked out? They were floor-to-ceiling panels of glass, and that was. I don't think I want to do that again.
I bet you that thing was moving, man. I remember.
You could look down the side of the building and just see how it was.
Yeah, it's it is quite scary. Well,
There's no place to go. If you're up 32 floors, where do you think you're going to go? You can't get anywhere.
you're not gonna get down the stairs because everybody else is going down the stairs. You just got to hang on and hope it doesn't fall.
Right. That's it.
That's about it. And that's why I've never been a fan of working in tall buildings.
In San Francisco.
Well, I'm not a big fan of working in tall buildings anywhere, just for the fact of if anything happens, where do you go? You know, if there's a fire, if there's a whatever kind of, I mean, if I'm going up in a building for a dinner or a restaurant or something like that, I'm going to be there a couple of hours. But these buildings, and in Seattle, they built these tall buildings that look like Jengas, where the whole design of the building is this has got to stick out here and it's going to stick out there, and it looks like a deck of cards that somebody went like this with.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at those and I'm like, I don't know that I even want to get up in that building. I mean, I used to go up there to the Tower Club in in Seattle and, look in the ladies' bathroom because the view was nice. But I look at these buildings that they built here in Seattle and I go to myself, good God.
Looks vulnerable.
Yeah. I just like the ground to be close. I want to be able to go out, a window and run. Call me an old second story guy if you want, but I'm just not a big fan of tall buildings anymore. When I was younger, I liked them, but when I was younger, I could run. Now I'm at the mercy of who knows,
Right.
And they're not saving the old people first. I mean, if the shit hits the fan,
everybody for themselves, right?
Yeah, they're saving the good-looking people first. It's always the way it works out. The old people, we're over there, but the good-looking people, they get out. I don't know. Seems wrong. I don't even like it when they put, they build these apartment buildings for older people, and they're 10 stories high or 12 stories high, and I hope you got a ladder that reaches up here.
And all that came about because Ken Griffey Jr. wanted to sell his house. There could be a hurricane. Is that worse than an earthquake? And that was the last 20 minutes of the show.
Well, that is this show, though. I mean, that's how this show goes.
That is how this show goes.
This show is basically.
We might have gone down the road of Frankie Valley and the Four Seasons, but we didn't. We went down this road, and this is where we are on the way to Spolpakia.
On the way to Spolpakia. Well, Frankie has canceled all his appearances for the rest of the year.
Well, he's kind of elderly for doing rock and roll.
Well, you think 90 is elderly?
It's on the line.
He's been lip syncing it for a couple of years. It's
on the line between elderly and historic.
Well, and it's true, but then again, I look at Paul Anka, and he looks like a friend of mine just went to a Paul Anka show in Vegas, and sent me a video of it, and he looked great. I mean, he's got to be pushing 90, 85, something like that.
He's still putting on his tux at night in Vegas.
He's he's still doing Vegas. Although I don't know where if my friend saw him in Vegas or Michigan somewhere. I forget where they saw him.
Same thing.
But same thing. But he was doing a show, and I think it was Vegas. And but he was doing a show, and he looked great. He looks like he's had his face lifted about 30 times.
No doubt.
But that's okay. What are you going to do? But he's still belting out. He belted out Diana to open the show. And by the time he gets to my way to close the show,
he's had enough.
He's gone through he doesn't do 3 hours like Springsteen, but he's up there for an hour and a half, and the ladies love him. He's no Tom Jones, but the ladies love him. There's another guy that goes out there. But Frankie, I know, 90 years old, and he hasn't had it for a while. So I just hope he's all right. He just got married last year. Trying to think. I think he married a 50-year-old woman. But
rocking the cradle.
Yeah. But the guy's been on the road
from here to there.
62.
There's no place on the road he hasn't been. You'd think he'd been there, and he hasn't been there. He's been there. He's been there more than you have.
He's been everywhere. So I just hope that he's in good health, and that maybe he cuts his appearances down to 1 or 2 times a year.
Is Bob Gaudio still alive?
Yeah, Bob Gaudio lives in Tennessee. Gaudio is lives in Tennessee and
writes a country song every now and then.
I don't even know he's got to write anything. I mean, he's between his the Four Seasons stuff
and the Broadway play
and the Broadway play and Watertown from Sinatra, which actually is interesting. I heard an interview with Bob, I don't know, about a year or so ago, and he was talking about Sinatra. He was actually being interviewed by Nancy. And no, it wasn't Nancy. Nancy was there, but it was one of these guys, these Sinatra files, not Sid Mark, because he's gone now, but one of these Sinatra files that have a show on the Sinatra channel. And he was talking about Watertown and what an experience it was, for a kid producer from Jersey to now be working with Sinatra.
And on such an interesting project.
It was, because it was a total departure from Sinatra. It was a concept album.
Right.
Which Sinatra didn't do. I mean, Sinatra was go in there, bang out 15 songs, half of them written by somebody who was dead for 30 years.
And the other half Nelson Riddle. Jones. Right.
But anyway, that is how this show goes, though. I mean, that's the charm of this show. This show is not for everybody.
It's not even for us.
Well, I wonder sometimes, but we seem to get through it. What are we doing this now? 6 years?
It's grown quietly, and I can't remember how long it's been. I remember we realized that our telephone conversations should have been broadcast.
Yes.
That was the gist of it.
That was the gist of it. We were sitting there, and two things came together. We realized that our phone conversation should have been broadcast, and COVID hit.
Yeah.
And we said, you know what? Everybody seems to be doing something. Let's just jump on and do this, so a few people will be entertained. And it's been interesting. It's been an interesting time. I mean, we've certainly taken on the power structure, that's for sure. I don't know to what avail.
Well, things have gotten to the point where Donald Trump now thinks that he's an attraction. He's the greatest attraction on the planet. There is no greater artist performing on this planet Earth that would draw as large and happy an audience as Donald Trump. So he believes. And this is taking his mental problems to a whole new level. For the president of the United States to say, Well, the guys are pulling out of my concert, my 4th of July concert, my 250th celebration. I'll do it. I'll be the act. I'll be the attraction. I'll fill in for them. We don't need Steppenwolf singing Born to be Wild. I'll sing it. We don't need Paul Anka singing Diana. I can sing that song. I'm gonna perform. I'm gonna be the headliner. I'm gonna be the opening act too.
He's got his talented kids to help him. I mean, which one is the one that sings? Lara?
You have to keep in mind that this is their definition of singing. It may not be yours.
Yeah, she's a warbler. You know, she's out there warbling for him. I mean, I'm sure that Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity have an act that they could put together.
I hope that's not the case, but yeah, they probably will.
And you know what's that disaster that's on in the evening? Gutless? Oh, Gutfield. I'm sure he's available to open the show with his witty comedy.
There are no. Have you noticed there are no Republican comedians? There's just the two things just don't go together. You can't have a funny Republican. They don't exist. It's not something that they're capable of. It is as opposite of humor. And if they try to be funny, as you see sometime on television, somebody like Mike Johnson will try to be witty, and it's a terrible thing to have to watch. The result is the opposite of comedy. It makes you slightly nauseous.
You don't think our old friend Rob Schneider is funny?
No, he's trying. before Rob was a professional conservative. He wasn't that funny to begin with.
Yeah, he was a one-trick pony. He had that Elvis thing going.
He had Elvis on a hook.
Yeah, he had the Elvis thing going, and then he got the gig on Saturday Night Live, and which I was always kind of shocked, but I always gave him a lot of credit because he kind of came up from the Holy City Zoo. That stable of comedians.
Yeah.
And wound up getting a writing job on Saturday Night Live, and then moved into the cast. And he had a couple of good characters. What was he? Was he the copy guy, right? In the copy machine, So he had a decent run on Saturday Night Live, and then all of a sudden, bing! All of a sudden, he became like a MAGA comedian.
A conflict in terms, but that's what he tried to become.
Yeah, he but none of the right. I mean, I don't think Adam Carolla. I mean, I kind of put him in that right-wing comedian category. I don't think he's all that funny. I think he's a shock guy. You know, he's one of those guys that'll say anything. It always shocks me that he and Jimmy Kimmel
were pals.
Were pals and partners and had a show together. I mean, I still remember Kimmel from when he was up here. So what was that? It was in the middle 90s. So he was off competition.
I remember him from KROQ here in LA.
Hey, speaking about LA, what's going on? We haven't talked about the mayor's race down there, which I didn't realize that one of the candidates seems to be a wingnut.
Yeah, terribly disturbed.
And he's polling like 23% or something, and actually had a shot at it.
We'll find out tomorrow. That's election day. The governor's race and the mayor's race are similar in that there are so many candidates that it's a fragmented field, and that's not good for the good people of LA and the expectant people of California to welcome a new mayor and a new governor. The good thing about it is, for the governor, this is going to be the preliminary election, not the final election. Right. For mayor, it's another problem because this guy Wimple, or whatever his name is a reality star, hasn't got a clue. He's loud, abrasive, and lost his home in the fires. And that gave him the idea that his problems could be solved by him being mayor. Your problems, don't be surprised if he never gets to those. But the people of Los Angeles cannot elect this guy. I don't get to vote on that because I'm in Pasadena. We're a different city. We have a different mayor. But the
but it affects what Pasadena, right? I mean, who's mayor in LA?
Well, we're all strung together, as you know.
Yeah, it's like kind of who's mayor of New York City affects not only New York City but Nassau County, southern northern New Jersey,
the tri-states.
The tri-states, yeah, it's. Yeah, I don't know much about Spencer Pratt. I know he's a reality TV guy,
and not a famous one.
Yeah, just like almost like if I were running for mayor. Well, no, I don't have any reality TV, but a sports guy, just a media personality. We see what that brings,
and that brings woe to the concept of government. It just brings a non-serious, inexperienced talker who's willing to talk about anything, but unable to do at a functional level the job of the mayor. And LA can't survive that. No major city can.
Well, Michael, at one time, I mean, I think you remember this. At one time, after the whole stadium stuff was going on, after the two stadiums and everything, I thought about running for something, something. I don't know if it was, I wanted to run for mayor or a council seat or something like that, because I was drunk with my own, my own smell. All of a sudden I'm important. And a friend of mine who was a county councilwoman at the time grabbed me and said, listen, it's fun when you go to a press conference and you stand up in front of a press conference and you're bloviating about, well, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. But wait till you got to sit through your first sewer contract meeting, or or you're awarding the a contract for painting the lines down the street, which is what the job is.
That'll sober you up.
Yeah, you'll be sitting there going, my God, what am I doing here? Now, I know it's intrinsically more complicated than that now, but it was a very
good
sobering thing. I said, I don't know if I want any part of that. I don't know, because it turned out that you have to be, you have to be a personality, obviously. It helps to be a personality. You don't have to be, but it helps. But as we see with the president, reality TV and reality politics are two very different things, and you can screw it up badly.
In a big hurry. Which is what Trump has done. Trump has screwed up his own country. He's screwed up the future of our allies. He screwed up the financial balance of the world by his idiocy that caused the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, he's got people that hate us more than they did. There was no doubt in my mind ever that people didn't like us as Americans. they thought we were loud and braggadocious and
Unreliable,
yeah, there was just a lot of things about us that pissed people off.
violent.
And he's proven all of that to be true.
Yeah.
He's excuse me. He's proven everything that the rest of the world would say about us to be true. And 50 years ago, we didn't need the rest of the world. In this year of 2026, things are much different. The world works in synergy. It kind of comes together. And I don't think you want to be on the outside of that. I think you want to be a part of that. But this guy has managed to piss off not only the people in other hemispheres, but the people in our hemisphere. The people that we got to work with.
He got the Canadians mad. Nobody can get the Canadians mad.
Yeah, see, that's the thing to me. That's the thing that, like, how the hell did you get the Canadians mad? I mean, they don't get mad except if you take their beer. unless you screw with their beer, those people don't get mad. I've been to enough hockey games in Vancouver. I've been to enough events in Canada to be able to tell you unequivocally that those people don't get mad unless you screw with their alcohol. And that's exactly what Trump did. He screwed with their alcohol. He put tariffs on their beer and on their cars and on everything.
And it's so unnecessary and so misplaced. They were our closest allies, and now they're not. We have to repair that relationship, as we do with all the NATO nations, as we do with anybody who is affiliated with us in terms of friendship, the Japanese, the Australians. Name a country, name a time in history when we didn't rely on those relationships. And now we don't have them. It's fascinating. It's impossible to believe that Donald Trump is such a fuckhead that he's ruined all this. He's ruined everything he's touched. He has spread devastation and disappointment and incompetence wherever he goes. And the men that he has around him, the Hegseths and the Christine Gnomes and every other element of the extension of Trump world, which is idiocy and incompetency, stupidity, and it's virtually impossible to accept it as reality sometimes. And now, of course, he is the Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons of the Republican Party, as he appoints himself the headliner of his own party, his own 4th of July concert. And he's going to go out and tell the same stories about his cognitive test and not going to Don Jr.'s wedding because he was afraid of upsetting the balance of government.
That's a weird. So what did he do? He sat home and he tweeted, or he sat on social media all weekend, which is what I think he likes to do. Which I think he'd be happy if he wasn't president. And he just well, now not, but I think that when you go back and you look at it, he would have been happy of probably not getting elected and just sitting there tweeting lies about people.
Yeah.
Because now his lies matter. See, before his lies didn't matter as much. It mattered to but he stepped into this confluence of disenchantment with America, a revival of racism, the likes of which this country hasn't seen since the 50s, and the immigration problem. And the Democrats, to their credit, let him in. I mean, the first time you had Hillary, and she fought a good fight, but the
I was looking this morning at the Washington Post's handicapping of the Democrats' run for the presidency.
I was just going to bring that up.
And the one that I couldn't believe is Rahm Emanuel is on the list as the dark horse. The ex-mayor of Chicago, the brother of the other Emanuel who runs Endeavor talent agency in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And Rahm Emanuel worked for Obama.
Obama was the chief of staff.
And it just broke my mind that he would be on the list of the short list of in the top 10 of candidates for presidency when Rahm Emanuel has no business being president. And that's not the kind of candidate that the Democrats need. What the hell is he doing on that list?
Well, I saw him on Bill Maher a couple of weeks ago, and Maher was kind of pushing him, to say whether he was going to do it, not do it. I think he's one of those guys that they just throw in there. I don't see him gaining any traction.
I can't imagine he would. He seems to be singularly unattractive as a candidate.
Yeah, I just don't see him. As a guy who could stand up and attract a following.
Not a national audience, never.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't see it. But strange things come out of strange times. I guess if you had said to me not long ago that 10 years ago that Donald Trump would be president of this country.
Impossible to believe.
When he was a punchline on Letterman. And that was his job, a punchline on Letterman, and all of the insanity that he brought, and that show, that you're fired. But he did it, right?
Yes, it's hard to believe that we did it to ourselves in a way. He helped, but we played along.
Now, who did, as you looked at that the article in the Post, did you see anybody there that you kind of went, yeah, that's an interesting cat? I mean, there was the regulars on there.
Yes. No surprises except Rahm Emanuel to my eye.
Yeah. But Pritzker and Mark Kelly, Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania,
Pete Buttigieg,
who I don't know. I mean, I think he out of all the guys there, he's probably, or all the people there, he's probably the most qualified,
the smartest.
He's the smartest. He's the one that I would say, he could probably engineer this country, at least on the path to repairing the damage that's been done. But I just don't know that America is ready. But then again, I said we weren't ready to elect a black man president several years ago.
We weren't ready to elect. We weren't ready to elect a black woman. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, but again, you have to look at the circumstances. Had she been put into a situation where she could have run a campaign that was long enough, and had she had some better advice, that she had to completely disconnect herself from Joe Biden.
Right.
You know, you couldn't look at people with the inflation running the way it was, the prices running the way they were, with the open border situation going the way it was, and say,
this is the way we go. This is going to be
the way
good.
we go. We want 4 more years of this, because people didn't want 4 more years of that. I don't know if they wanted 4 more years of Trump.
No, they didn't, but they didn't know it then. Now they do.
Now they do. But and so she never had a chance to put together, I think, a campaign. But now, and she's one of the people mentioned on that list.
Yes, not as a front runner, but
now she's kind of besmirched.
Old news.
By the loss. I mean, how does she get past that? You want to put a loser up? I mean, I hate to say it. And she got whacked in a lot of places. And why? Because she wasn't talking about what people want to hear, what they want to hear. And the thing that they want to hear, and David Axelrod said it years ago, it's the economy. James Carville said it. It's the economy. All of this guys, it's the economy. And the economy is going to be so bad by the time that the next election rolls around. I think we talked about this. And,
because everything Trump does makes it worse.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. I saw an interview with John Ossoff, the senator
from Georgia,
who is up for re-election. And Ossoff talked about retaking the Congress, and that the first thing that they were going to do when the Democrats got in there, when they retook the Congress, was they were going to investigate the Republicans. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and you know this. I don't have to tell you. I'm going to say something. I'm sick of these investigations. I'm sick of Congress spending all their friggin' time. The Republicans investigate the Democrats investigating the Republicans. There are people that are suffering. There is work that has to be done.
There's repairs that must be made.
And now there's a deep hole that's been dug in this country. And the person that's going to get my vote, the person that I think will get many votes, is somebody who's going to say, I'm going to come in and fix this. I'm not... the Republicans have done what they did. Okay, we're going to do what we can do to fix it. And how do we fix it? Here's my 10-point plan. Here's what we do. Bing, 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 bing.
I'm the repairman. I'm the president, and I'm the repairman.
Right. Exactly. I'm the guy who is going to get us out of this, or I'm going to surround myself with the best people in the world, whether they be Republicans or Democrats, whoever they are, that has answers to get this country on the right track, to improve our economy, to get people jobs, to make it, to get some relief.
Bring peace to the world.
And not be bombing people, not be spending money on war, not defense, war.
Especially a war that was so ill prepared, and they had no idea what the launching of that war was going to provide for the ones that they were supposed to lose that war. They didn't lose it. They have instead gleaned more power than they had before the war, and they control now the economy of the world.
Many people
because
think
we put it in danger.
Many people think that when this is all over, we will be in a less powerful position. The Iranians will have a new token that they didn't have before. They will have the Straits of Hormuz, which they didn't control. They will now control.
Right.
And they will have pulled America's pants down and spanked us in front of the whole world.
And the idiot Trump generals. Yeah, the idiot Trump generals that were put in charge of this war are no better than he is in terms of following through on their promises or the necessary elements of their job. They didn't see this coming. They didn't foresee it. They didn't warn about it. They didn't try to stop it. They became victims of it as fast as Trump did. And if that's what your generals are capable of doing, you need all new generals, all of them.
Well,
Or you need the ones that you got rid of before that war.
and you had a president who apparently was afraid to stand up to Netanyahu and tell him no.
True.
And with that, with going along with him, because he is hell-bent on destroying everything around him.
He's the rubble master.
Yeah.
I can't make it better, but I can make it rubble.
And anything he touches turns to a disaster. And there's no and the attention span of this president astounds me. Like, wasn't it just 3 or 4 months ago he was talking about going into Gaza and turning it into a casino strip and everything, Las Vegas of the Middle East?
It was a done deal.
Done deal. It's all Kushner's on it.
And then I'm going to Greenland, and then I'm going to Havana, and then maybe I'll go back to Venezuela because they seem to love me there.
No. Anyway, the Democrat that comes up with the plan that says we're going to fix this thing, and here's the plan, and here's how I'm going to make you, Mr. and Mrs. America, whole again from this. I don't know if I can make you completely whole, but I can at least start to get back some of the things that we've lost over the past, really, when you think about it, how many years? 4 and 4 and it'll be 7 by the time this election gets going.
And what have the Republicans managed to do in those 8 years? What is the crowning achievement of their time in office? War, COVID, mismanagement of the federal government.
Yeah, I would have thought COVID would have done it. I really would have thought that COVID would have absolutely, but.
You remember the president saying, if you keep testing people, you're just going to get more cases. So stop testing people and the number of cases will go down. That's how I see it.
And take this ivermectin. Take this stuff.
The goats seem to like it, and the sheep too.
The sheep are happy. You stick a little ivermectin in them and turn them around and get up behind them, and they love it. They love it. Yeah, the Democrats got a lot of work to do too. But my advice to them, and by the way, the one guy on that list that I really find, well, there's 2 guys I really find intriguing. I like Pritzker.
Mm-hmm, I do too.
I'm convinced that we need a father figure, a leader. Convinced that we need somebody who is bigger than life. And that we need somebody who is going to stand up there and be a leader.
Chicago style.
Well, maybe Chicago style, yeah. A guy who's eaten a few hot dogs in his life.
Right.
And
a self-made billionaire.
And there's 2 guys on the list there, 2 people on the list that I like, and it's Pritzker and it's Mark Kelly.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, like they said in the article, astronauts are in right now. Astronauts are cool. I don't know why we never elected John Glenn president.
Well, he was not a strong candidate.
Yeah, he never seemed to get...
Good senator from Ohio, but not It was his retirement plan.
Yeah. And but I like Mark Kelly. I like what he says. I like that he has
His experience.
he has experience. He has that leadership quality. He looks like a guy that when he goes in the room gets quiet and you listen to what he's got to say. Pritzker looks like a guy that the room gets quiet and you listen to what he's got to say.
Right.
And that's what we need.
The type of men that they were. Kelly, of course, got the full ire of Trump, tried to take away his rank, tried to take away his retirement, tried to ruin him as an individual, and he beat them all, beat it back. And that was a great first step. And his wife was the victim of an assassination attempt, and she still carries the scars from that, serious scars.
Yeah.
And what an American story.
Yeah, but she beat it back. I mean, she's damaged in, physically, but when it comes to inspiration, when it comes to somebody who's suffered and gotten past it, who better?
Yeah, I think he should be our number one, and he's got a tough side to him, and that's going to be required because there's going to be tough decisions to be made, and decisions that after they've been made, it takes a while for them to work. When you're going to fix the Department of Education, you can't do it overnight. You can shut it down overnight, but you can't fix it overnight. The CDC, all the elements of our healthcare and insurance and the future of the health of the nation is in the balance of this next decision that we made for president.
Well, I'm convinced that unfortunately, I don't know where we're going to get the money to do this kind of stuff. We've pissed away so much money in building arches and going to war with countries and doing the idiotic things that this president wants to do.
Like a ballroom.
Yeah. I mean, how many school lunches could you buy with that money?
All of them.
How many old people could you get vaccines with that money? Not even old people, school kids. How many daycare centers could you? I mean, again, it's ridiculous. People in this country need a break, man. And I know it's not going to be good for the media.
It's in their hands. The people of the voters of America have the future of the nation truly in the balance.
Truly. And, and Dan Wilson has got the Mariners winning. What the hell more do you want?
First place. The only 500 team in first place.
That's okay, man. I'll take it. I'll take the fact that they're playing good ball, and they are playing good ball without Cal.
And are they playing the Mets tonight or tomorrow?
Tonight, tomorrow, and a matinee on Wednesday. So I'm going to see if I can go to at least one game, maybe two.
Well, I'll root for the Mets until you notify me otherwise.
Well, I'm just conflicted. This one's really conflicted because I don't know if the Mets really got a shot at it, and I see a team of just these individuals, and at least when I look at the Mariners, I see a team similar to what I saw last year, and which was a team that looked like they were all there for each other.
Yeah. Now they look a little tired.
Yeah. They look like they were all there for each other. So let's hope for the best. It won't break my heart. You know what? If the Mets win 2 out of 3, It's not going to break my heart. If the Mariners win 3 out of 3, it's not going to break my heart either. I'm actually a winner in this thing, no matter how you look at it.
You've got your calluses from the tough season so far.
Yeah. If my baseball guts tell me that the Mariners can go somewhere this year. The Mets, wait on it's June 1st, and it's wait till next year.
Well, the front page of the Sunday sports section held a column by Bill Plaschke pleading with Artie Moreno to sell the Los Angeles Angels, pleading with him, get rid of the team. You can't do it. You've tried, or you haven't tried. The results are the same. Sell the team. The people chant at the games. They chant, "Fuck you, Artie. Fuck you, Artie." And they hate him. He's the most hated owner in professional baseball. And he is a non-productive steward of the game. He marginalized Mike Trout. He made Ohtani disappear and go to the Dodgers. He can't put 2 and 2 together and make it 4 no matter what he does. He cannot inspire anybody with his ownership of that team. And it was a long article, and the phrase "sell the team" came up at the end of every paragraph. They would state what he'd done, what he intended to do, what the results were. Sell the team. State the players that have wasted their careers coming to play for the Angels, and say, sell the team. He pleaded with him to sell the team 10 times in this article. And it's fascinating that there are 2 teams in LA, but only one of them is playing baseball, and that's the Dodgers. The Angels are just a placeholder. They're not really in the league. They're not really playing to win. They're not really a baseball team that is competitive and able to be competitive. So that was an eye opener. I hope Artie does sell the team. It'd be nice to have a contender play under the name Angels again.
Well, the thing is, right now, I don't know that anybody would sell a team or anybody would buy a team because of the labor agreement, and nobody knows what it's going to be.
Well,
The
that's always
CBA
pending in baseball, isn't it?
Yeah, the CBA expires at the end of this year. The negotiations have not been going well between the two sides.
They never do.
And there's a lot of people talking that there might not be a 2027 season, or at least a lockout or a shutdown.
The Giants wouldn't notice the difference.
Yeah,
Dodgers,
several
Dodgers
teams
would.
that wouldn't. But there's the salary cap talk, the salary floor talk is going. I mean, there's a lot of different proposals out there, but the two sides seem to be far apart. And so
It's
I
not
don't
good
know.
news for baseball. Traditionally, that's bad news for baseball.
Yeah. So I don't know how anybody would want to buy a team right now without knowing what their parameters are going to be for what they're going to have to spend.
Well, it's going to be more, that's for sure.
And I don't know how
And
you sell a team if you
and
don't know.
The owners are traditionally bad negotiators, bad faith negotiators.
Yeah, and it's gone okay for the past couple of years, a couple of times. I mean, they had a small disruption a couple of years ago. I think it was a couple of games or a game or something like that. But we'll see. I don't have a lot of faith that anybody's going to want to put money down on a team right now. They got the Padres thing through, and I believe that was with the help of a bunch of owners. So We'll see what happens with the Angels. It's amazing to me the teams in Southern California can't make it work.
Well, Artie Moreno is a bad example of what an owner should be. And he's made his team pay for his incompetence. Another Donald Trump story.
Well, that's it. Well, rich people never pay for their own incompetence, do they?
No, that's for you to pay for. You get to pay for their incompetence.
Right. They collect the cash. You
collect the woe.
consequences.
Yeah, right.
It's like that old game show, cash or consequences.
Then you have a good day.
Michael.
Have a good day. Have a prosperous fix to your health. And I'll see you Wednesday, and you'll be in the pink.
See you on Wednesday morning. If the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. Until then, peace, love. Happy birthday to my friend Nutsy Fagan. It's a birthday today. So Nutsy, happy birthday.
Nutsy, we're thinking of you.
And peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
It's quite a wine, man. See you, Vin.
Okay, Mikey. Thank you all for listening, too. We'll see you on Wednesday.